Welcome to Free Practice Day here at Macau, local time 11:30. Spot on time for the scheduled first time we see the cars that will be competing this year for the very prestigious Macau Guia race. Sunday that will come. They'll be racing on Saturday as well in a qualification race. However, today is all about free practice. We've had quite a few free practice sessions already that have required early finishes to the sessions. For now, we see touring cars out on circuit and they will be competing for the Wynn Macau Guia race. Alan Hyde in the commentary box throughout all 4 days of the 69th Macau Grand Prix, and alongside me is David Addison. Bit of a treat for touring car fans.
Well, yeah, we get a double dose this year because we've had the cars for the China Touring Car Championship, which doubles up for the MGM Macau Touring Car Cup, and the Guia race, as we say, the Wynn Macau Guia race, is the also TCR Asia Challenge. So you've got 2 very good entries across both of those races, and this one I think is wide open. You've got Andy Yan as a potential favourite, who was the 2017 TCR champion and a triple Chinese touring car champion before that, but there's no one clear winner perhaps in this, whereas in years gone by in the Guia race you would have said yes, that's definitely the man, or those are definitely the potential winners, but this is a very much a local entry. So it's pretty open.
It's a little bit more wide open, isn't it? Which is fascinating to see. We just had a touring car free practice session. It was for the MGM Macau Touring Car Cup, and MGM and Wynn both are significant parts of the skyline at Macau. Large hotel complexes. The first year I ever went to Macau Grand Prix, it was the Wynn Hotel that absolutely fascinated me because it sparkles. So right. It is the most amazing thing to see at night time, and offers the title to the Macau Guia race this weekend. And we were just mentioning the previous session that we had, the MGM Macau Touring Car Cup. We got information up here from Rob Huff, who normally we would see out competing for the Macau Guia race, but this year he's competing in the Touring Car Cup in an MG, and we were head-scratching a lot. I think he finished 14th, didn't he?
That's right, yes.
And he sent a text through just to bring us up to speed with exactly what was happening in new discs and pads. So the housekeeping that we were referring to set teams up for the weekend, that's what was going on. Just starting to wind it up a little bit on the lap, and then the red flag came out. So that's the explanation from Rob Huff. And for many years we have seen him compete as part of this field, a field of TCR cars.
And he's had, what, 9 Guia wins around here. So there, Billy Lowe heads the traffic with the Audi RS3 and a double GT champion. He's being swarmed all over by the Hyundai that's queued up behind, looking for a way through as they come down towards Mandarin. And it's Lao Si Ho in the i30N TCR, which has got the pace to stay with the Audi, but not yet been able to find a way past. And he doesn't want to get stuck for the whole lap. So now Lo Si Ho commits to the inside. No, still can't do it. Billy Lowe misses his braking point, sails up the escape road, and that means that Lo Si Ho gets a free ride up the road through Fisherman's. And there is Billy Lowe trying to sort himself out.
Yeah, a perfectly executed 3-point turn and back onto the circuit, albeit some way back from track position when he went off the circuit, but just shows you how vital that little escape road at Lisboa is. They are carrying huge amount of speed into braking for Lisboa. That's what makes it the most perfect opportunity for overtaking.
And it was there last year, wasn't it, in the first GT race that we saw Darrell Young have his big drama on somebody else's oil, but he bounced back a day later to win the GT race.
Thanks to the team overnight doing a quite remarkable job on the car.
Absolutely right. So right now, Lo Si Ho, the Asian Touring Car, TCR Asia, China GT regular, is a man on a mission. 2 purples, 2 absolute bests then as he heads down towards police and then up Moorish in a moment. So this is looking good because he's got nobody around him to get in the way now.
Yep, this is absolutely essential for putting in a quick lap. We saw it in the GT session earlier on. We've yet to see the GT3 cars come out on circuit, but very firmly fixed upon touring cars at the moment, up towards the Macau hairpin. And as we saw in the previous session, oh, that was close to the barrier on the exit, wasn't it? This is a committed opening lap.
Flick, that wasn't it?
It was a little bit,
get the car around the corner. So this is going to be the benchmark time with 3 purples, should be 4 because there's nobody ahead that's going to go quicker on this lap. So now down towards Fisherman's Bend, then the R Bend comes Lo Siho and the Z Challenger Racing Hyundai i30N TCR, to give it its homologated title, comes into the right-hander and up the escape road. In strife there has gone Lai Jinghuan, the super endurance racer with his Audi RS3. And there is your benchmark time then, set by Lo Siho. Through in the Hyundai, Billy Lowe's back on the track, having had his moment, but it's going to be a slow lap from the Audi.
It will, and let's hope he didn't actually lock the car up, didn't look to lock the car up to take the escape road, so the tyres are still going to be round as they would need to be.
Yes.
That's the 55 car, Chen Chion.
And we've got a yellow flag out at Marshall's post 3. Not anymore, we haven't gone in, so whoever's had the moment has got away with it. A 2:38 is currently the target. As over the timing line there, Chen Xiong goes second, the Macau Road Sport and Touring Car regular. And then up to third goes Yu Long with the Team Endless Alfa Romeo. There it is, the dark blue and yellow car in the background. But he's just lost track position to Chan Wing Tom with the Golf GTI. There it is.
Just really important as well to, off the back of Rob Huff, sending us the message that bedding in brakes, scrubbing in tyres, doing all of those kind of housekeeping things. That's what free practice is very much about. You get the extra element here at Macau of circuit acclimatisation, a circuit only open for 4 days of the year, and the opportunity of track time, absolutely imperative. And many of our free practice sessions so far today, they haven't had that track time.
No, you're right. So everybody here hoping they can go through without drama, which is easier said than done at Macau, as we have seen many times in the past. 17 minutes of the session to go. Where do we find Andy Yan, I should say. We don't find him in that top 13. He's yet to do a lap time, that's why. But again, he should be up near the pointy end, one would have thought, on pure pace, as you look there at Learn Ken Hay. Pressing on.
In the Honda.
Yeah. Been racing in the Guangdong Circuit Production Saloon class this year, so stepping up to TCR spec and a very different sort of a circuit here.
You would only need to look at the livery of that car and you would instantly know what part of the world it races in. Very, very typical bright liveries. Fantastic.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of creativity that's gone into some of these. Now they're trying to get warmth into the rubber. Lo Siho coming down towards our bend. He's already the fastest, but has he sort of bailed on this lap? A 2:38 is the target. Needs to be in the 2:36s, which is what they were doing last year. And so he's gone across the timing line, fights the car then now through Reservoir. And this really good lap because he's absolutely bought a clear road.
And that little bit of extra heat into the tyres going onto this lap, presumably knowing it's going to be a clear lap. Well, there was a great example. You can see right the way down the course, no cars in front. This could be very impressive. This up towards the completion of Sector 1. Not surprisingly, purple in Sector 1. Down through up towards San Francisco Hill, around the right-hander. And then into this very technical part of the circuit. The circuit narrows, the barriers get closer and closer as they thread their way through these demanding, twisty sections on the circuit, through the various challenges up towards the very top part of the circuit at the Macau hairpin. No overtaking in cars over the course of the weekend.
But at the moment, he doesn't care. There's not a car around him. This is absolutely perfectly timed, isn't it? Got out early, and the way that he's flicking the car around, it's almost like watching a Hyundai rally car on a tarmac stage. He's absolutely inch perfect through the barriers, between the walls, and Lo Se-ho is doing a really good job here.
Perfect opportunity this, with clear circuit in front and behind through police. The corner that so often can catch them out into Moorish, and the exit of Moorish close to the barrier. This is committed, isn't it?
There's a lot of movement in the car.
Somebody else must have gone purple in sector 1.
Yes, you're right. But it's, on the one hand, you think it doesn't look like it's a compliant car, but it must be, because he's got it by the scruff of the neck and the times are coming. But he's about to get traffic here.
And on the critical part of the circuit as well.
So you might just about be able to get the lap in. 2 purples and a green. It should be a quicker time. And there's the traffic. I think he's just going to get 1 car possibly in the way. Let's see. He will be able to get through on the inside approaching our bend. He's not going to be massive, just a fraction of hesitation in working out which way to go. The other car he'll have to negotiate on the next lap. So the time to beat is his own, 2:38.9. And as he comes up towards the line now, Lo Se-ho goes through, and the lap that he does is a 2:35.492. Excellent lap, that.
But somebody else is on a quick lap, because initially...
It's Andy Yan.
Right, OK, because has gone purple in sectors 1 and 3.
And has gone fastest overall.
Oh, yeah.
So he's on a 2:35.138. So Andy Yan in the Honda has gone quicker than anybody now. 88, which is Wu Wai-hun, is being looked at for crossing the white line on the pit exit in his Audi. So, yeah, in the background there, the white-nosed Honda, there it is, of Andy Yan. I said he should be a front runner. Well, he's the fastest now by 0.354 of a second.
Impressive, that.
Yeah, he... Hong Kong SAR within the FIA Motorsport Games a few weeks ago. Made the trip to the south of France. And the car was looked after in part by KCMG, Paul Ip's company, that looked after all the single-seaters that were used in the F4 race, and Paul Ip himself represented Hong Kong in the GT race with Mark Lee.
Looked like a real success story, that event.
It's great. I mean, it's grown from what we had at Vallelonga a few years back to the point that there's almost too much to look at.
Wow.
You know, there's junior and senior karting, there's endurance karting, there's auto slalom, there's drifting.
There was a lot going on, wasn't there?
Yeah, great. And it was free admission, so there's a big crowd.
Yeah, good. Andy Yan has seemingly no way past here.
No.
And that has resulted in, not surprisingly, a slower lap behind the number 15 car of Zhang Han Biao in the Cupra. Still no way through. Up towards Donna Maria around the left-hander. That's when the circuit opens up a little. So Andy Yan able to get past, but
I think in fairness, Zhang did give him room, didn't he?
Yes,
got off the line.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's just where you catch the car, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And how compliant that driver's going to be.
Yeah.
Because in a qualifying session, they don't want to drop behind you, because they might be building up for their lap and they want the clear road ahead. So, yeah,
he's got more traffic as well to deal with, as Andy Yan, before he gets the kind of lap that we saw with complete clear track in front and behind that we saw for the number 28 car of Lo Se-ho. In fact, they might not get another clear lap quite like that again during this session.
Yeah, because, again, at the start, you can almost control that, but now, because of their pace, because of when they exited the pit lane, are almost bound to get in the way. He found a way past Ouyang Zhenwei's Honda, and there is Andy Yan now with the road clear ahead of him, so let's see whether he can push on for another lap here. Again, he's got the track knowledge, so he starts slightly ahead of many of the others, doesn't he?
Certainly does, and at the moment, clear track in front and behind, able to push on, and just in the back of that picture you see the 28 car of Lo Se-ho through yeah, just slightly over cooking it. Zhang Han Biao into Lisboa. Easy done.
But looky here, Felipe de Souza for Champ Motorsport with the Audi has done 2 personal bests. He misses the apex by a taxi ride there going through Donna Maria, but there's nobody around him at the moment to get in the way, so Felipe de Souza is coming down towards the Macau hairpin. There is some traffic up the road, but again, he's going to find that car as a part of the racetrack wearing wide off the wall. Again, this is a lap with huge amounts of commitment being put in.
You're absolutely right, yeah. So purple sector 1, purple sector 2, personal best in sector 3, and we're about to see the conclusion of sector 4. Oh, so close to that barrier coming out of the Melco hairpin. Pretty close, coming out of the final turn at Fisherman's into our bend and the conclusion of the lap. What is sector 4 going to be? Are we going to see Philippe de Souza going to the top of the times? Well, he's crossing the timing line now, and no, so slower on that final section.
And I think that was just because of the traffic, and even though there was that just ever so slight lift, do I go left, do I go right? And while you make that decision, you lose a fraction of time,
yeah, and
so it puts de Souza therefore slightly down. Not where he wanted to be necessarily. 32 of Hu Jiaxin is the next driver he has to negotiate with. The FK7 style Honda goes through on the inside down to Lisboa, and then it's Leung Ken Hay with his Honda next up the road, and he's going to get out of the way. There's Billy Lowe with the wheel off and looking as though there's not a huge amount of activity for the Audi driver at the moment.
No, well, we talked about housekeeping, so it could be that you know, pads were being changed or discs were being changed, but not the case. Activity around the car particularly, just with the wheels off at the front of the car, so not good news for Billy Lowe. You wouldn't think there was room for so many different lines through the Melco hairpin, but there are.
Yeah. And again, drivers are learning during these free practice sessions which work best.
Yes.
Not only where to turn in, but also where that's going to put them coming out of the corner and the momentum that will carry for the next part of the lap. So there, looking rapid right now in number 93, Ran Wong, who's been a regular in the Guia race over the years, and his Audi, run by the Champ Motorsport team, and it's a 2:44.459 that he sets. It's a very gentle lap, but pushes on, gets through the traffic. This looks like it's got a bit more commitment, and whisper it, we've only got 7 minutes to go. We've done pretty well thus far.
Flashing, we really have, yeah, touching wood.
Yeah.
7 minutes remain, and flashing lights for the all-pink car of Ireiko de Jesus, the Macau driver in the Honda, the Mac Pro Racing Team Honda. Flashing lights and showing intent that this is going to be a push lap.
Now, de Jesus is one of those drivers that, again, knows his way around here. He comes back season after season, whether it's in the road sports, whether it's in the local saloon races, whether it's the Guia race, but barely misses a season, loves the circuit, knows his way around.
Local hero.
Absolutely, but the first sector does not suggest it's going to be a good lap.
No, and presumably the flashing of the lights was to show intent. I want to go on to a quick lap.
That's Huang Ruohan off the road. Another experienced driver going back to the days of the Sirocco Cup, but the Audi up the escape road. He's got to sort himself out from there.
Room for a three-point turn and to get back onto the circuit. Far better than to bump into the tyre barriers on the outside of that corner. Far better alternative to go straight on down the escape road, and although a fair chunk of time doing the three-point turn, well worth it in the end.
Yeah, and here Ireiko de Jesus is still stuck in the traffic, isn't he? So he's still not been able to find past the car of Ran Wong. So what have we got? 5.5 minutes to go. Yellow flag out whilst Huang Ruohan rejoins. Should now go in, and I think Ireiko de Jesus has realised that lap ain't going to come to anything, and he's backed out of it as they're going through again. Jose Lowe, but just up the road ahead of him is Hu Hang, regular in the China Endurance Championship this past season, and and he skips out of the way, and that now enables the Hyundai of Lo Si Ho to go through.
Yep, Lo Si Ho, of course, still on top of the times, and they're so close to the wall. That's how you get a quick lap around the Guia circuit at Macau. Bringing up the name of Rob Huff, who has been, I make no apologies for that, he's spectacular in a touring car around this circuit. He said something, there was a quote one year that I liked. If he finished the race with his wing mirrors, then he wasn't trying hard enough.
An almost contact there, look, as Lo Si Ho tries to get past Andy Yan. So he is on a mission, and he's done a personal best in the first sector and has had to do some overtaking.
Certainly has. Lo Si Ho on now the twisty section of the circuit. Sector 2, the very long sector, hugely technical, very difficult to get past another car if you get caught behind a slower car in this section.
But he's down in sector 2, so he's missed out by a second and a half, and he's been caught again by Andy Yan, so they're having a proper fight on track, but little good is it doing their lap times. Under 4 minutes of the session to go.
So it's going particularly well as far as being able to get into a groove and put in lap after lap. The tyres now fully up to temperature, the engine up to temperature, the brakes up to temperature, so this is pretty optimum. The weather, it's 25 degrees, pretty typical Macau weather today, scattered cloud, 25 degrees as the day goes on.
What are they up to? Because they were both pushing at the start of the lap. Maybe they've realised that the improvements weren't coming, and they've then both backed off and have taken to just keeping the warmth of the tyres by weaving left and right. But they're both at it. And I think it's that realisation that there's traffic up the road, they've lost ground, abort this lap, go for the next one.
Yeah, and they're still going to have a bit of traffic in front as they are coming up towards the first of those cars now, rounding the final few turns on the Guia circuit here at Macau. Minutes of the session remain. It's the first time we've seen them win Macau Guia race cars on circuit, TCR Asia Challenge cars. For that, Andy going into pit lane, did I see?
Both into the pits,
oh,
yeah.
Right.
But Yan followed suit, so they both aborted it, and that would be the end because they won't get back out again really to do an out lap before the flag comes out.
And they'll be back out for another 25-minute free practice session towards the middle to the latter part of the R3.
Now, Felipe de Souza is still out there, but he's also got himself caught up in traffic again, I'm afraid to say. So this ain't going to be any improvement. He has got Dangbo Wei behind him. Experienced TCR driver getting out of the way slowly there, Jiang Wei. He's been racing in the Formula 4 China Championship this year, but switches to touring cars for the Prix. And the checkered flag is imminent.
Less than 2 minutes remain on the clock, so yep, it certainly is this 25-minute session. Coming out of the Melco hairpin and the run down through Black Sands for number 26, Felipe de Souza. Just behind is Yo Long in the Team Endless Alfa Romeo. And de Souza, as David says, one of the regulars at Macau, local driver. All the local drivers carry such strong support in the grandstands over the course, not just on race day here at Macau. We saw grandstands filling up first thing this morning. It's only free practice. It's not a competitive day in any respect at all, but still they turn out because this is an event that the whole of the year people of Macau look forward to. And cause for celebration.
Indeed, and it is an opportunity to go and see cars on track, which is what they want to do. So Lo Si Ho, then the fastest, is now in the pit lane, although Andy Yan has just gone back out again. The margin between them is now just over a second, but Andy Yan isn't going to achieve very much, I'm afraid to say, because the checkered flag is imminent.
It is just 5 seconds left on the clock, and D'Souza on the technical part of the circuit, just confirming that the quickest time is the car in pit lane. As very impressive that, having taken the checkered flag, car number 7 goes way up the order into 4th place, and that's the car of Huang Ruohan in the Audi. So a lot of places made up on that lap.
And 2 that didn't get a time. In fact, more than 2, because 4 of them didn't get a proper lap time. And you're looking here at the perils of traffic, but just quickly to mention that Billy Lowe, who we saw go up the escape road, never got a lap time in because clearly he had a brake issue. That's why he went up the escape road. Another one that didn't get a time was the car of Samuel Sher, nor did we get a lap out of Chi Lung, and nor did we get a lap time out of Jiang Wei. So quite a few under the transponder issue and/or car issues. Certainly in the case of Billy Lowe, because we saw him with a brake drama.
Samuel Sher, one of the Team Up Motorsports entries this weekend. Mike Ng in car 53, yep, and with the checkered flag out, we're not going to see the top time bettered. 2 minutes 34, 1:08 in a TCR car around the Guia circuit. First time we've seen the 33 car during this session. That's Dang Bao Wei in the 109 Racing Audi. Takes the checkered flag, and an uninterrupted session, our second one of the day. So well done to all concerned.
And it's good for drivers, good for teams, because they've got data now. They've got something that they can work on, except that it could have been interrupted, because right at the very end, one of the Hondas has charged the wall coming through Fisherman's down to our bend, and he marks. That car, I think, has arrived backwards and hit the barrier. Is it 32 that has arrived on the scene?
Hu Jiaxian's
car, in spectacular fashion. So the China touring car's regular has had a good go at the barrier. Well, it doesn't affect things because most people have taken the flag anyway, but it does mean that's a car with damage.
So, checkered flag is out, and with that stricken car, there will be, oh, it's moving. There is debris on the circuit, and although the car moved, it moved only very briefly. So I think that car will require a recovery.
Unusual place to find a car, though,
it is
on the outside there. But anyway, the car will be retrieved, and the session got through without stoppages. The drivers are back in the pit lane already, and a chance to reflect on that session. So it's a very happy Lo Se Ho, who is the fastest. And you can get number 13 of Jason Mock there, the GT and TCR racer. So Lo Se Ho is the fastest from Andy Yan and Felipe D'Souza third. Huang Ruohan in 4th in the times, ahead of Jason Mock in 5th. It's the car that's caused this stoppage, or the damage. 14th in the end, Hu Jiaxian with the Star Cars Racing Honda. 20, there should have been 24. One, I'm not even sure, went out at all because Jiang Wei never registered a single lap. But we'll look forward to seeing them back on track later on in the day for free practice 2 for the Wynn Macau Guia race.